So I've been wanting to make a longer form video for a while, and I seemed to be interrupted each time I did it. So I thought I'd get myself out away from people and maybe the distractions and work from here. I thought I'd give you a little view of what I'll be seeing as I make this video. That's the surf coming in. It's foggy. Comes a wave, it's a crash. All right, let's get going. So, paradigm A, paradigm B, and the AHA process. So, I wanted to talk about just the simplicity of it, and then kind of put it back from your point of view. The simplicity is that instead of focusing on like getting to where we want to go, if we're looking to be authentic, if we're looking to be awake, if we're looking to figure out that life is the experience of amazingness, healing, whatever it might be, we all have this in common. We are sentient beings. And with the AHA system, basically the process, we look at those two aspects as emotions versus feelings. And they are what drive us through time. We think it's our thoughts, but it is not. So let's talk about time a little bit and our relationship with time. And that's what, take inventory of how you process time now. How do you make choices? Because basically that's what's happening is we make choices now that move us forward in time. And part of the anxiety of life is either living in the past or living in the future. So let's just simplify it to, are we being motivated or are we being inspired to move through time? So we're all making choices and they're all coming from sensations, and I'll go a little bit more into that later. But basically we break it up into emotions and feelings. And emotions are what we're unconscious of. Those are the sensations that we are unconscious of, and our feelings are our groundedness. Now, I know the outside world has a bunch of different definitions, which tangles it all up, but this is how we simplify, by making it as simple as possible. Emotions, we don't know where those sensations are coming from, and feelings, when we feel grounded. So, where are you? So basically, if you're looking to aspire to feel better about life, find groundedness, heal, whatever you want to call it, then that's why you're watching this video. So I will assume that you're unconsciously driving yourself forward with emotions. And if you feel like, well, I'm not driving, that's not true. Because yes, there could be a person sitting on the couch eating chips all day long, feeling like I'm not making choices. You're making choices in every moment, just like the person that's working 80 hours a week, just filling their life with busyness. You still have to make choices. You can't stand still on a moving train. It's just how it works. And so we'll kind of talk about both ways. So the easiest analogy I use is a sailboat. And what we want to do with a sailboat is catch the wind. And when we catch the wind, we are moving the boat forward the way that we want it to go. It's grounded and moving when the sail is full. And if you can imagine that sense of sailing and just you catch the wind, you're with it. So that's what we're looking for. So think of the boat and the trajectory of the boat as feeling. and feeling grounded when we're in that flow. And the emotions, if we're trying to work our reality and work our choices from the point of view of emotions, we can either, we're going to take the two extreme sides. One side is we're super angry, we're super sad, we have high emotions, and just imagine like the way that we're moving through life is the sail is getting whipped one way, and then whipped this way, and then whipped this way, and then whipped this way. And the boat's not going in the direction that we'd like it to go. So we want to learn to correct that so we can get into the wind and we can get our trajectory going correctly. Now, somebody, let's say, that's lethargic, and maybe this is you, and it's been me a lot of my life. I've spent a lot of time sedentary and just not knowing what to choose. And, you know, I could stay in that state for a long period of time, but eventually life like says, okay, you got to do something else. And then the way that, so basically what it is that there's hardly any wind, because we're processing these little emotions. And if you can imagine, that's kind of what's happening if we're addicted to watching short videos or watching the news. We're just waiting to get some piece of excitement going to fill the sails. And then eventually we are going to have such a busy mind, because what's happening to us is we are actually driving our thoughts. And then the thoughts become so ferocious. What we're doing is we're getting enough emotion to finally make a choice to move forward. And we're still not moving forward in a powerful way, but we have to make some movement forward. So that gives us kind of an idea of, or brings in the idea of our thoughts. We think that our rational thoughts and putting together logic and ration is the way that we are making choices, and it's not true. We will make choices from how we feel from the thoughts that come to us. Well, if we're moving forward with emotions, we will have a very busy mind, because our mind is constantly looking for excitement to keep making choices in reality to get through time. And so the whole process is to get away from emotions and get into the grounding of feeling. And, you know, there are lots of things, religions and philosophies and meditations and all of these kind of things. And they're very good, but that's what they're really trying to do, is get us grounded into moving forward with time. And so using the AHA process is, not saying that you necessarily need to meditate, because if you learn to adjust how you're making choices in life, your mind will just slow down. It's not necessary anymore. And so I'm not saying not to meditate. Meditation's a great thing, and you don't have to sit for hours and hours and hours. You just bring it a little bit into your day, and it's a really good thing, and that could be part of the AHA process as well. So you can take inventory now after hearing that. Like, where are you? Like, what is your sail doing? Do you feel like you're waiting for the thing to get going in life? You're most likely not somebody that has the anger thing and whipping back and forth, unless somebody sat you down to make you watch this video, which I hope they did, to move forward with time. And this covers everything. It covers so much. In fact, I had somebody that I was talking about this with, and they said, I just don't see how this is going to work for everybody. And my explanation to that is, I don't think that everybody is available to this. There could be people that have issues that are outside of that scope. I would imagine it would be very, very, very few. But I also, the way that I look at it is that I don't care whether you have trauma. I don't care whether, you had a horrible childhood or whatever, all of the things, the alcoholism and these kind of things. There's a reason that we get addicted to drugs. There's a reason for how we come to the point you're watching this video. And so how do we simplify it? How do we learn to go from making choices from emotions into feeling grounded? Well, we have to get used to knowing the difference between when we're feeling an emotion and when we're feeling a feeling. When we're sensing would be a better word, because I really like to be very definite, and this is something that I would suggest that people do, is don't say I feel like this until you feel grounded, you feel like the wind is in your sail, and you are going forward. You would say, I'm trying to figure it out, or I am emotional. The emotions are pushing me forward, or I don't know. If you don't know, you are being driven by emotion. Feeling is groundedness, and once you get your sails, you will know whether or not you have your sails done, and that's when you really want to understand to have the good self-talk and use the proper terminology so that you're not deceiving yourself moving forward. So start using the terminology on being emotional. And that's the thing, is we can use this in our relationships, because if we're being emotional, then we know we're projecting. It's just that simple. If we're emotional, we're projecting. So you would sit with the aha process, accept it as 100% true, whatever it might be. That's a really good example. That, let's say you have a partner or a friend or a family member who is bringing something to you, and you're reactive to that choice, and then you need to make a decision from that. Do you want to make that from a position of a flailing sail, or do you want to make that from the position of being grounded from a full sail? And then you know how to make choices, and you make powerful choices that from that point of view. And then once you've accepted it, then you hold that. You hold that emotion and you sit with it. Because what ends up happening with emotions is emotions drive our thoughts. And then we think that, oh, this is the way I feel. No, those are the thoughts that are coming from the emotion. So we sit with the emotions until we feel grounded. We have to accept. We have to come to a point where we accept it. And when we accept it, but while holding it, then the feeling will come up. And then a groundedness, you will have a groundedness in what you see. So let's use an example where, you're talking to a partner and you're emotional. You find that groundedness. And this is just math. Perhaps there was a situation where, you didn't take out the trash, but they forgot to tell you to take out the trash or leave the note about the trash or something like that. So there's a little bit of accountability on both sides. So that's the accounting part of it. Aha. It's accept, hold, and then you recognize and you account for it. And you say, well, this is how I feel. I feel as if, I could have taken more initiative and gotten the trash out. But I also feel that, that if you were better or you remembered to leave me that note, we could have been working as a team. And so you take what's yours and you own it completely, and then you let go of what isn't yours. And that comes from experience. So you just, you can do as a practice. You can use it all the time. It's that simple. It's accept it. Like if you're feeling, crazy and you don't know how to make a choice, And it could be about which pencil to buy. It's like you could do an aha right there. And this kind of, the process can happen very quickly because you've just had a habit of trying to make your life work through emotions, and now you're just changing the habit to working with feeling. And once you get over the hump, when you really start to feel and you're able to get this sense and you can start to feel that wind in your sails and you have this groundedness that you can give to other people. This is a gift for everybody. You give people your groundedness, then really the last A becomes automatic. So the last A in AHA is your training wheels, just to get you started, to work through it. Or perhaps you've been doing it for a while and then you want to work with somebody else, and then you go back to that and you say, okay, well, I'm going to do this with my partner, and we're going to work on this together until we both understand this process. And then you go back to doing that. And then you do your accounting back and forth. And you just know when you're grounded, you're not going to be angry. You're not going to be reactive. You are going to be present. And you work towards it. And then after that, you will drop the A, the accounting part, because that will just automatically become an automatic function in your world. And then it's just, ah, 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 ah. This is such a cool process. And I know it's already worked for people in a very short amount of time. And it's worked so much in my life, in my relationship. We do this all of the time. Sometimes we are and then we run into clink, then we get some more clinky, but we're both looking inside. Am I coming from, in this conversation, am I reactive? Am I defensive? And then we regroup when we can find that grounding. And then when we do, then we can go through things from an objective point of view, and then we're working to help each other to find our sales, because we respect that. We know when we're grounded, that will be helpful to the other person, and that's the gift that we give to the other person. So this is exciting, and I'm excited to offer sessions on this. And what's interesting about it, I love it, is that it's not rocket science. And it like when I was in psychotherapy, that was the big thing, is that people came to just visit me all the time because they got just a quick release. This is a thing that people can pick up and boom, they're taken off, and they just don't need me that quickly. But it does take a little bit of time because, we have been convinced that driving ourselves with emotion and trying to motivate ourselves rather than to find inspiration, that sometimes it's a little bit difficult. And it is helpful to get personalized, what's going on in your life, how, what's working, what isn't working, what are things that we can do to adjust so we can start to find filling your own sails. And that's another great metaphor I'll leave you with before I end this video. And that's the difference. And again, you can define yourself and define the world from motivation comes from emotion, and inspiration comes from feeling grounded. And so we're trying to move away from motivation and going into inspiration and being inspired into this world. And all the evidence is out there to see the difference. One thing that came to my mind was when I used to go to the gym, and there's the people who motivated themselves feel better than everybody else because they motivated themselves to do this. And basically what they're doing is they are driving their sailboat with an engine, and it's running over everybody and trying to win the race rather than being a team player. So the people inspired are those happy people at the gym that they just go and they do their thing. They feel good about themselves. You can see it, you can feel it, and poof, they're off. And then there's the other people that you see at the gym, and they're the ones that are like looking at the muscle. They're looking down on people. If you've ever had a conversation with some of them, they will talk about the people that are coming in, and that's all coming from them trying to motivate themselves from emotion. And that's exactly what you need to do when you're driving yourself with emotion. Is you need to create drama. They create drama for themselves. Look at those wimps. Look at how much better I am. And then it goes from the other side. It's, that's kind of the idea of being, think of ourselves better than others. But there's also the codependents who sit back and they become, they're driving their emotion from another perspective, which is to then reverse judge the arrogance of the narcissist, and it just becomes this cycle, and it's just ridiculous. And once we really truly understand that, that's the cool thing, is that we finally get the cosmic joke, and then we learn that life is the gift of experience, and experiencing what you came, and the gifts that you came, your authentic self, following your conscience, what you came to gift to this world. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with just a few seconds of this beautiful scene. The fog has come in, the tide's coming in, and there's some cool waves hitting the shore. You can see, I can barely see out there now. And the tide's coming up. I'm probably going to miss. I'll show you these homes here on the cliff as well. All right. This is what you get too. Feeling good. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Please comment, give feedback. My creative expression is not my creative expression. This all comes from everybody's perspective of the world, and everybody is a muse, and it's just helpful when I get feedback and questions in particular situations, then we can look at it from a different point of view. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day.